You're drowning in inspiration, but you're starving for ideas. The problem isn't what you're consuming, but it's that you're consuming like a tourist, not like a tattoo artist. This character reveals the difference. Here's the trap. You think that consuming and creating are two different activities. First, you gather inspiration, and then you sit down to create. I spent years doing this, watching hundreds of videos on procrastination, finding your voice, saving articles, bookmarking resources. My brain was full and my hands were empty. Then I decoded Fumi. I had been looking at creativity completely wrong. Consumption and creation aren't separate rooms. They're the same pattern recognition happening in one moment. But how does that actually work? I'll show you what tattoo artists understood and that modern creators have forgotten. Fumi isn't just writing or patterns, but look at its original form. A human body with deliberate markings on the chest, a tattoo painted in vermilion on the breast of the deceased. But this wasn't decoration, this was technology. These body paintings served three functions: preventing the soul from escaping, summoning resurrection, blocking evil spirits. Every mark had a job, every pattern was intentional. But here's what matters. The tattoo artist didn't observe pattern and then create ceremonies. Marking was the ceremony. Observation and creation happen in the same moment. Here is what it means for your creative block. You think you're blocked because you need more inspiration, better ideas, better vision, but that's not the problem. You're blocked because you separated consuming from creating. You scroll, you save, you bookmark, thinking I'll use this later, which never comes. The tattoo artist knew something simpler. When she marked a pattern on the skin, she wasn't doing three separate jobs. First I'll choose what matters, then I'll understand what it does, then I'll arrange it into a ceremony. She just marked, and the mark naturally contained her choice, her understanding, and her arrangement all at once. But you might be thinking, does this mean I should never do any research? Just create impulsively from the first thing I see? Hold that question. Let me show you what this looks like with different creators. Then I'll show you why it's not impulsive. So if you're a writer, you've saved 47 articles, watched a dozen YouTube videos, but you haven't written in weeks. That moment you saved that essay on voice, that flash of, oh, that's what I'm trying to say, that was your voice speaking. Right from that recognition today. If you're a designer, your Pinterest board has 300 pins, but you're staring at a Figma file completely paralyzed. When you pinned that first image, or one of the first images, the one that made you stop scrolling, you were already designing. What did you see? Start there. If you're a content creator, your watch later list overflows, but you haven't published in 2 months. Which one video made you think, this is what I'm missing? That recognition was creation starting. Make your version of that this week. But here's what you're probably thinking now. What if that first instinct was wrong? What if I discover something better later? Let me tell you what happened when I marked my first instinct 17 years ago. December 2007, 4 months after arriving in Japan, I'm designing a Christmas gift for 3 colleagues. A personalized business card based on their kanji names. One of them is Takahiro Taniguchi, the vice principal of the high school I was working at. Taniguchi, his family name, Tani is valley, and Guchi is opening or mouth. He tells me, my parents gave me Taka in Takahiro from the Prince Shotoku Taishi, the 7th century figure who first wrote to China as quote-unquote the people of the rising sun. The instant he tells me this, I'm not just listening, I'm already designing. This is the moment right there, right here, the light bulb. Japanese characters don't just spell names, they contain transmittable information. Western designers, artists, creators could learn culture through these symbols. That could expand their perception of words, concepts, ideas, shaped only by their own environment. What if the ancient origin of these symbols could deepen creative imagery even further? Not just what characters mean, but how they were formed, what rituals they came from, what patterns they reveal. I wasn't marking a pattern, then analyzing it, then creating the card, then developing a methodology. I just listened and marked, and that mark naturally contained the design, the cultural insight, the methodology, this entire channel, all at once. 17 years later, I make this video. Wa, Yume, Inochi, Bunka, they all exist because I stopped separating listening from designing. So,
Was that impulsive? No. I didn't design that card randomly. I listened, I observed, then marked what I recognized. But I didn't separate listening from marking into different weeks. They were one moment. That's trusting pattern recognition.
So here is the Fumi question for right now. Think of one project that you're stuck on, and then ask yourself, what was the first thing that I saved before I started collecting comprehensively? Go find it. That's your mark. And trust what you marked. Okay, this was part 2 of 3 in the Bunka Fumi Bakeru series. Next will be transformation. But the alchemy character has something uncomfortable to say about that.
Ooh, いい感じ。